In the past decade, artificial intelligence has become the most important battleground in technology. Companies are racing to build smarter assistants, powerful AI models, and entirely new computing platforms driven by machine learning. Microsoft invested billions into OpenAI. Google accelerated development of its Gemini models. And Nvidia became one of the most valuable companies in the world by supplying the chips that power modern AI systems. Yet one of the most influential technology companies in history has taken a noticeably different approach. Apple, the company that reshaped smartphones, tablets, and personal computing, has been unusually cautious in the race for generative AI. While competitors rushed to release powerful AI systems to the public, Apple moved quietly, focusing on privacy, on-device intelligence, and deeper integration inside its ecosystem. To some analysts, that restraint looks like discipline. To others, it looks like hesitation. And history shows that when a new technological platform begins to emerge, hesitation can reshape entire industries. The question now is not whether Apple understands artificial intelligence. The question is whether its cautious strategy is a calculated long-term move, or the beginning of a mistake that technology companies have made before. Is Apple repeating the biggest mistake in tech history? To understand that possibility, we first need to understand how Apple typically approaches technological shifts. Because Apple has rarely been the first company to introduce a new technology. The iPod wasn't the first MP3 player. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone. The iPad wasn't the first tablet. Apple's strategy has traditionally focused on waiting until technology is mature enough to deliver a seamless user experience. The company rarely wins by inventing new categories first. Instead, it wins by redefining them. But artificial intelligence introduces a very different kind of challenge. Because AI is not just another feature. It is rapidly becoming a new computing interface. A way for people to search, write, create, and interact with technology using natural language instead of traditional apps. And when a new platform begins to emerge, companies are forced to make difficult strategic choices. Choices about where to invest. Choices about when to move. And choices about whether to protect what already works, or build what might eventually replace it. For Apple, those choices have quietly shaped how the company approaches artificial intelligence. And when you look closely, strategic decisions begin to emerge. The first decision reveals where Apple believes artificial intelligence should actually live. Artificial intelligence introduced a dilemma for Apple. Most modern AI systems rely on massive cloud infrastructure. Training and running those models requires enormous computing power and huge volumes of data. For companies like Google and Microsoft, this approach makes sense. Their businesses are already built around cloud platforms. But Apple faced a different challenge. Its brand had become deeply tied to user privacy. Sending large amounts of personal data to remote servers conflicted with that philosophy. Apple had to decide where artificial intelligence should actually operate. In the cloud? Or directly on the device? Apple chose the second path. Decision 1, prioritizing on-device AI. In 2017, Apple introduced the neural engine inside its A11 Bionic chip. This specialized hardware was designed to accelerate machine learning tasks directly on Apple devices. Instead of sending data to external servers, many AI features could run locally on the device itself. Face recognition, photo organization, predictive typing, language processing. All of these tasks could happen without large amounts of personal data leaving the device. From Apple's perspective, this approach aligned perfectly with its privacy-first philosophy. But the generative AI boom introduced a new complication. Large language models require enormous computing power. And that computing power usually lives in the cloud. Which meant Apple's privacy-focused strategy might also limit how aggressively it could deploy large-scale AI systems. That difference would quietly shape Apple's next strategic choice. Because the rise of generative AI raised a second question. Should AI exist as a separate product? Or become something integrated into everything? Most companies chose the first option. They released AI tools directly to the public. Chatbots. Standalone assistants. New interfaces built entirely around AI conversations. Apple chose a different path. Decision 2, integrating AI into the ecosystem. Instead of launching a standalone AI chatbot early in the generative AI boom, Apple focused on embedding artificial intelligence directly into its operating systems. In 2024, Apple introduced Apple Intelligence, a system designed to bring generative AI features across the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Writing assistants, smart summaries, image generation, improved voice interaction, But instead of existing as a separate application, these features were integrated into everyday tools. Email, messages, notes, notifications. Apple's strategy suggested that AI should not replace apps, but enhance them. In some cases, Apple partnered with external models, including technology developed by OpenAI. But it combined those systems with new privacy protections and a hybrid system called private cloud compute. The goal was to deliver powerful AI capabilities while maintaining Apple's privacy standards. Still, critics argued that Apple's approach also meant entering the generative AI conversation later than its competitors. Which leads to Apple's third strategic decision, where Apple believes the real competitive advantage in AI will come from. Most companies competing in AI are focused on building the largest and most powerful models. Apple, however, continues to emphasize something different. Hardware. Decision 3, betting on hardware advantage. Apple designs its own chips. Through Apple Silicon, the company builds processors specifically optimized for its devices. These chips include dedicated neural processing units designed to accelerate machine learning tasks. Apple's strategy suggests that the future of AI might not belong only to companies building massive cloud models. It might also belong to companies that control the devices people use every day. If artificial intelligence increasingly runs locally on personal devices, Apple's hardware ecosystem could become a powerful advantage. But that future is still uncertain. Because the speed of the AI revolution is unlike most previous technological shifts. And that leads to Apple's fourth strategic decision. How fast to move. Decision 4, moving deliberately rather than rapidly. In many technology revolutions, speed determines who defines the platform. The internet rewarded companies that scaled quickly. The smartphone revolution rewarded companies that built ecosystems rapidly. The generative AI race is moving at extraordinary speed. New models, new tools, new capabilities emerging almost every few months. Apple's approach stands in contrast to that pace. Instead of releasing experimental AI tools quickly, Apple appears focused on delivering tightly integrated, polished experiences. This strategy reflects Apple's historical pattern. But it also creates uncertainty. Because technological revolutions do not always wait for perfect timing. And that uncertainty raises important lessons for modern companies. The first lesson is that technological shifts often create entirely new platforms. Personal computers created the software industry. Smartphones created the app economy. Artificial intelligence may now be creating the next major computing interface. The second lesson is that strategy requires balancing speed with quality. Moving too quickly can produce unreliable products. But moving too slowly can allow competitors to define the ecosystem. The third lesson is that integration can sometimes be more powerful than invention. Apple rarely wins by inventing technologies first. It wins by integrating hardware, software, and services into a cohesive experience. If Apple succeeds in AI, it will likely do so through integration rather than raw model size. But the final lesson may be the most important. Timing. Technological revolutions create windows of opportunity. Companies that recognize those windows early often define the platform. Companies that wait too long may find the landscape already shaped by others. Which brings us back to the question we started with. Is Apple's cautious AI strategy a disciplined long-term plan? Or the beginning of a mistake that technology history has seen before? The answer may define the next era of computing. We study the decisions that build, and break, global brands. Subscribe to Brand Decisions. Because collapse is rarely sudden. It's usually invited, one decision at a time.